Tape 8. We had to break off from 7 as we ran out of time, so this is Sunday, May the 22nd.
Well, sure.
At Ditchling.
Should we do it some
Fordham.
time we can?
No, that's fine.
Right.
And this is the life story of Arthur Henry Jephcott. And I'm Jess, Arthur's son, and we were just talking about the birth of children,
Yes.
various children, talking about Trudy and when she arrived in 1956. So to continue the story, we went back to get the gas.
I went to get back to get the gas, and I had the bunch of keys in my hand to the nurse, midwife's flat. And I had the big key which she'd given me, but unfortunately I'd let go and it became mixed up with all the other keys. So I had to go through every key to eventually got that, got back to the flat, and everyone was having a laugh in the room there. They seemed to be enjoying life, but I wasn't. Anyway, I gave her the gas and that. And what happened next? Can't remember.
Anyway, the important thing here is that Trudy was born at home rather than in a hospital.
Yes, but it's funny. The midwife came out to me. I cannot recall what she sent me back for. Again. But the same thing happened. I got down there and I dropped the blinking key in the bunch, and I'm there, 2:30 in the morning, fiddling with the keys, and a voice behind me said, "Good evening, sir. Well, what are you doing?" I said, "It's the local policeman." And but he knew who I was. He didn't know me personally, but he knew that what was going on up there, and he said to me, "Oh, you're Woodbury Way?" I said, "Yes." He said, 69. I said, "Yes." "Oh, well, good luck, sir. Hope everything goes all right for you." So I went back, and things went on. And good job, Doctor had another chat with him, because I think it was Trudy got the cord around the neck, and it helped a lot, you see. But anyway...
That was Dr. Johnson, would it have been?
Dr. Johnson and his...
Clark.
No, Clark wasn't there then.
No, he came later.
Yes, so anyway, incidentally, Dr. Johnson was in his dressing gown, and when things were over he stood outside the house talking to me, and the cheeky blighter said, "Yeah, your place could do with a bit of paint, couldn't it?" I said, "In the middle of the night he was talking." Anyway, the doctors disappeared, and next I knew, the midwife came out. She said, "Now you can take this blood and it's got to be burnt." I said, "Okay." I knew what that was. That was all the afterbirth. And got that going, and things went on. There was something else I had to do for the midwife, but within the premises, so that was all right. And then she tied it up, and she said she was finished, but she got, oh yes, would I carry her case down with me for her? And she said, "I'll go on, and she'll come down later on. There'll be a little, so I think there was something for me to do." So she stood at the door, just saying a few words to me. She was an abrupt old girl. She was knocking on. She retired shortly after
I remember
that.
her, yeah.
And I said to her, did she eat sweets? Yes, that's right. Did she eat chocolates? And that. And she's standing on the step and I'm down on the marble. So she looked at me, told me, what do you mean you want to buy me a present? Just like that. I said, oh yes. So she told me she'd rather have some soap, a nice...
Yeah.
So I said, oh, all right, I will do that. So off she went. So I gave it about a quarter of an hour and I started walking down the road feeling a bit better about life when I saw the milkman. I thought, I can tell the milkman I've got another daughter. I said, but before I got up to him, he said, congratulations. Everyone she came across, of course, she was so well known.
Yeah.
She said, oh, I've been up to Jephcott, you know. So anyway, that went on. So I got to her door, rang the bell, and she came down. I gave her a case. She said, now, just a minute. I've got doctor's gloves here. I had washed them. That's why she wanted me to go later, you see. She said, will you take them over to doctor? So I did that. And at last I'd finished. And that was the birth of Trudy. And things went on very well, except unfortunately when Trudy was old enough to have vaccination, from that she developed eczema and severely. And poor child had to be wrapped up in frocks, trousers, gloves, hat, bonnet. Oh, it's sad to see the sheets filled with blood, but she still, to this day, to a smaller degree, suffers with. But seems to me that everything has happened to Trudy. But anyway, she's happily married, and but although loving children, she couldn't have any children. So she and Bill, her husband, decided to adopt, not adopt, foster. And they are at the moment fostering 3 children quite successfully and reasonably happy. I say reasonably because obviously they do have a few tantrums from one of the girls in particular, but of course she comes from a really bad home. But the girls get on very well indeed. And
so was that the 3 children? Was that the end of it? No, I think there was another one, wasn't there?
Yes. Mary wanted another child. She wanted 4 children. She got that in mind. So she did become pregnant again, but unfortunately we lost the boy. Was born, and miscarriage, and anyway, doctor saw her and advised her really against having another child, and that she did. From after that, of course, who did we have? Innes, and that was the 4. And we all lived happily ever after.
Why the choice of name?
Innes, my mother's name, was Innes, surname. And we thought it was nice, it was unusual, so we called him Innes. And Auntie up the road that got us to go to Walton had a brother at Walton, John, and we called him Innes John. And of course the auntie...
Uncle Jack, I think he was, wasn't he?
Yes, she used to call him Jack.
So, I remember him.
So that was a complete family. And,
And that was 1961, I think.
yeah, something like that.
Was he was born in hospital?
He was born in hospital, yes,
Mm.
yes. And he was born in Clacton.
Mm.
And we had visitors staying with us at the time. And I hadn't got a car at the time, so I was a bit worried. But as soon as this chap he knew, the husband,
Mm.
these people knew he was out. And his car came out and he took me to Clacton. And we got that sorted out. But we've always been happy with our family, and the usual, the few tantrums and things like that cropped up. But I am pleased to say that both the boys, they had a free choice of what they wanted to do for a living when they got old enough, and they both became engineers. And well, what's the word?
Well, I don't know.
What are you when you...
Qualified?
Yeah, an apprenticeship.
Oh, yes.
Served a very satisfactory apprenticeship, and have done very well by it, particularly the eldest boy,
Whatever his name is.
Jess, and he's happily married and delightful wife.
So, Una married. Una got married, didn't
Yes,
she?
yes.
met
Now I
her-
wonder whether we should leave it there for now.
No, not at all.
Hmm?
No, you're going to tell us a little bit about your retirement, I hope.
What, tonight?
Yeah, if you're all right. Hmm?
I must pee.
Right, okay, we'll stop the tape there.
Yeah, you'll have that. You'll hear that on there, won't you?
I'm going to talk now, really, a little bit about your retirement. I hope.
Retirement.
We've spoken about the children. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, you've talked at length about your time at Woods as well.
Mm.
So, you came to the end of your working career,
Yes.
living in Walton. What next? What did you do in your retirement?
Yeah, did I retire?
That would be about 1980, my goodness, 65, about 1980, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
81. 1981, I think.
No, 1980
Yeah.
was.
That was the shock to you?
So, well, jumping ahead a little, well, quite a bit really.
Mm.
I continued working at Woods of Colchester and became very well known there. And I like to think very successful in recruitment, which was essential to keep the wheels of the wagon turning. And time went on, I had my ups and downs, but usually I came out best on various problems and continued to earn my gold watch, which never really did work compared with
That's GEC for you.
eh?
That's GEC for you.
Yes, that's true. And my old watch that I have on my wrist today and had before that one, which I paid £30 for, is still going well, but not my retirement, not my service watch. However, to be continued, obviously, eventually retirement date appeared on the calendar, and as custom has it, normally I suppose, you're supposed to stand drinks and a bit of a party, breaking up party.
Mm.
And although I happened to be a senior personnel officer, I wasn't paid all that much, and I was a wee bit concerned about, you know, cost.
Mm.
And at that time I had a very nice boss. I used to get on with him very, very well indeed. And he called me in and said, now, we want a list. You give us a list, I take it, of people you want to give a drink to. I said, well, yes. So he said, well, who do you want? So I've forgotten who I put down, one or two, you said. And he said, what about Mr. Parker? Director. Cool, put that down, you see. And this went on. Now, give us a list of what you would like as a gift when you go. So I threw a box of matches. Anyway, that finished up as I got a garden seat, which I'm looking at the moment as I sit in my son's garden. It existed all these years and it's still in use. Also a, what else did I have? Can't remember. You don't remember, do you?
No, not at all.
No.
No.
Anyway.
I wasn't there.
No, of course you weren't. No. And various bottles of wine. Donated from various chaps that I employed during my time, and no doubt one or two of them, and obviously one or two of them there, felt obliged to give me some recognition for giving them a job under various circumstances. But anyway, things went on very well indeed, and then I was called in again about the number of people. Had I got a list of the number of people? So I said yes, which I gave to Fred Wyatt, and then he started. Well, the directors were going down, all sorts of people. I'm thinking to myself, God blimey, you know, it's going to cost you something, Jeff, says he. I said, well, I think so, but I didn't want to let on, you see. So suddenly, bloody list he had there. Of course you weren't working there, were you? You could hardly get in there, right there. Club, lunchtime it was as well. And old Fred laughed then suddenly. He said, don't worry, Jeff, the company's paying for all this. Unheard of, that was. And all we had a real do there.
Good old send-off.
A good old send-off. And some of the girls in the wine shop tried to get me. And it was a wonderful time. I was a bit overcome, you know. And it transpired that we was a custom of the company to work with television company if they wanted to do a
documentary. A documentary or something.
A documentary, and we used to help out. And they were doing one at the time with our company of the various stages of life, birth, christening, marriage and things like that. And one of the chaps on the shop floor was going to do part of it, but got cold shoulders
Cold feet.
Cold feet, I beg, not shoulders, cold feet. And bit short notice, and they wondered what the devil they can do, and bearing in mind my retirement was coming up, they asked me whether I would mind doing it. Although they wanted a chap off the shop floor, they cleared one of the director's offices up on the top floor, Mr. Parker's actually, and I sat there in all my glory, and I was...
that was the 7 Ages, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7 Ages. TV came in, and one in front of me telling me not to look at them, just... There was one sitting on the floor, there was another chap standing behind the chair. Quite a number in that room, and anyway, that was done. And they said there'd be a small gift for me, which turned out, I think it was 25 quid or something like that, and for which I was pleased to get. And of course I did have to pay drinks all round one evening for the foreman, but I had a wonderful send-off, I must say that. The day of my retirement, I motored to work, and as I turned into the Birkholt Road, I blew the radiator of the car, and of course I pulled down towards the offices, full of steam coming out the front. But when I got there, lo and behold, the 2 main gates were open up, the commissionaires were there. On the director's car park was a label which I still got, Jeff's parking space. And I had some fun there. Anyway, I parked where the directors parked, and someone put at last, he made it, you know, things like that. And they put my car away into the apprentices. I forgot the chappie who did it, one of the instructors.
Well, there was Alf Jackson there was Brian Maynard.
No, Alf Jackson
Totten.
had gone.
Totten.
Anyway, they went and got me a new radiator and fixed it. I'd only got a couple of quid on me, which I gave to the bloke who did it, but I had no trouble at all. And my car was fixed up for me, and they couldn't do enough for me. They really, it really was, you know, to an individual like me, it was quite disturbing mentally that you were getting this sort of treatment. You began to think then that I didn't know this feeling was there, but one chap said to me when you took me to that get-together, Jeff, you were the only person. Of course, they used to think I was management, but I was only half management.
NCO. Like an NCO.
Yeah, and they said you were the only chap out of management that talked to us off the shop floor, and I thought that was a tribute, because if a new chap came in, I would always take him down the shop floor. If the foreman was engaged, I'd stay with that chap until the foreman was free. But the habit was just to chuck him down the shop floor, let him stand there until he's picked up, and of course the chap was, newcomers were looking rather embarrassed. Anyway, I got on well with them, and got up to some tricks, you know, swimming in the Blinking River and things like that with them, some of the do's. But I had a good time there, and...
So what did you do, actually retired then, once you've left work?
So when I retired, I'd always been happy to work. I never liked the thought of being out of work. but I didn't quite know what to do. But Mary at the time had been working for the probation officer, and she became disillusioned about their methods and what they did for delinquents, that she packed the job in and had got a job at the town hall. And a chappie in same road that I lived was in charge of all the beach inspectors and deck chair attendants and things like that. And he asked me whether I could help him out by doing a job for him for the summer months, which I did. I said I was a deck chair attendant, and it was so funny that I would be dishing out deck chairs, and people that I knew at Woods would come along and say, "What? You, Jeff, you know, throwing up deck chairs?" I said, "Well, yeah, I've got to do something." Anyway, the following year, mind you, doing the work, I lost nearly all my government pension. In fact, I think, if I remember right, £4 I had left out of it because they took so much for the first £2 and so much for, and all this, which was shameful, really. But anyway, I was happy to do the work, and it was exciting to see things going by and what's happening on the beach. The following year, I did the putting green, which was quite good. Filled a few tickets for my odd friends. Then the following year, another job I did, I can't remember what it was. Deck chairs, putting green.
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember. Anyway...
wasn't beach inspector, was it?
Oh yes, beach inspector. Which, a bit hard on the feet, but you took people's complaints or any misbehaviour, you had to stop and all that. On one occasion, I was walking from the Coast Guard's building up the main promenade, when in the distance I could see a crowd of chaps. Well, I didn't know they were chaps then, but when I got close up to them, they were all men spread across the pavement, having a bit of fun. And when I got there, I looked over, and of course there was a couple of girls stripped to the waist. And they thought I had to go down the beach and tell them to get covered up, you know, and clear the men away. None of them took exception though, but, you know, things like that.
Just good fun, yeah.
And
it's quite normal now.
yes, but the chappie who lived in Oakland Road, not Oakland Road,
Close Road,
Woodbury Way, was a nasty bit of work. He wouldn't allow any of the men go to the council if there was a message to do. He'd always do it himself. He wouldn't allow any of us to go. And he was always saying, "Oh, don't worry, you'll get paid for it, you know, and you get your money." And it was always money, money, money. And that went on. Then he kept on making excuses. He asked me to do, could I swim? I said, yes, I can swim. And he said, would you do a lifeguard in the swimming pool at where we lived at Dovercourt, which I did. 3 or 4 days I did that. No incidents, but the 2 blokes that did do it took a bit of umbrage, I think, because I wasn't qualified and they reckoned they were and all that. Anyway, I was told I'd get, the rate for the job, which I didn't. I only got my normal rate, so I got on to Sam and had a go at him, and he kept on making excuses. And the next I knew, he'd switched a bloke into, and by then I was living in Clays Road. Another chappie, very close in Clays Road, used to live. Used to work on the beach. He switched him into my job because this chap was on night shift and didn't like it, and he put him in on my job. And so I just took my cap, my badge, walked down to the office on the front there, and some people were in there talking to him, and I just chucked my things down on and walked out. And that's the last I saw of Sam. That he had a nasty bit of work. He used to boast about, you do this, you say that. I can always go to a confession for the weekend and things like that. And I didn't like that sort of work. But he's died now. And I had a bit of upset towards the end. A chappie living in near where we lived. What's the name of the estate?
Well, Walton Park, wasn't it?
No. Our last house in
Oakland Road, in Dovercourt. No, Clays Road.
Clays Road.
Yeah.
Yes, in Clays Road. Anyway, we left there and came up here, and the next I knew I got a job in the holiday camp. Again, in the swimming pool. But that was totally different because you came across some nasty people there. It's surprising. People on holiday look for arguments and rows and that.
Oh yes, in their nature.
Yes. Anyway, I did a season there.
That's when you were in Dovercourt.
Yes. Then,
so you moved to Oakland Road.
Yes. And then the following season I didn't follow it up, but they came for me to see if I would do it. And I did do it the second season. And I got mixed up with my tax then. Well, you've seen the tax, but see, all those that knew said, oh, you see, I used to get a tax return when I was working, but during the time I'd been doing other jobs, the tax system had changed. And everyone said, oh, you don't have to pay tax, you're not working on all that.
Not much you don't.
No, exactly, but I should have done. But I pointed it out to the tax people, which I shouldn't have done. I should have let it go. But anyway, it's better to be safe than sorry. And after that, I stopped working altogether, except for a bloke over at Colchester. I think regretted every minute of employing me.
Yes, you used to come over to our place to do some work.
Yeah, but I was a failure there.
Well, you used to clear up for us and get it all tidied, and that was good.
I tried to, yes, and it used to annoy me when I picked up nuts and bolts off the floor and found out where they belonged, put them away and found them on the floor again within a couple of days. Used to happen at Jupils, that.
Yeah, oh, it does. It does.
So many on the floor at Jupils that they boxed them up and resold them. Well, useless.
Anyway, Oakland Road, and sadly we lost Mum
Yes. And
a couple of years ago, and
poor old Mum died there, and she was in a poor old state with her illness. And she had 2 or 3 complaints, and one of them being cancer.
yeah,
And but she died quietly, very nicely. I was with her, and she closed her eyes, and she smiled at me, to tell you the truth. And then quietly closed her eyes. It broke my heart. It does when I think about it.
yes,
But
of course.
anyway,
And then we moved you to
yes.
Emily May Court.
Yes, yes. I sold the house at the fair, right, with Jessie's help, who took over administration of the will and all my affairs, and still does it for today. And
We look after you.
yeah, I'm looked after well. The girls come and visit me. Innes, the other boy, he comes once a week to see me, and Jess, my oldest boy, and his wife, a beautiful house just outside Colchester, has me there every fortnight, weekends, and feeds me well.
In fact, on that point, dinner is now ready.
Yes,
We'll close the tape now,
yes.
and I hope to add some more to the tape for your 90th birthday, which is coming up
Yeah.
within a matter of a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So we'll close it there. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
One of your girls today said to me as she left me, said something, have a happy birthday. I said, oh yes, I will. I said, but you don't know the age. She said, yes, I do know your age, and you don't look it.
Oh yes, of course, we've had the archery people here today. So
Yeah.
yeah, you've been giving us the benefit of your knowledge, haven't you? Anyway, close the tape now.
Yeah.
Well, this is Sunday the 21st of September. No, it isn't. August, sorry, for celebrations in Colchester. Right, this is Sunday, 21st of August 2005. It's the VJ Day, VJ Day celebrations in Colchester. We brought Father up today.
Jack Paul. This is a prayer that was written for them. Dear Lord, we that are left grow old with the years, remembering the heartache, the pain, and the tears, hoping and praying that never again men will sink to such sorrow and shame. The price that we pay, we will always remember, every day, every month, not just in November. Amen. Jack always remembered his comrades, but Jack also fought for reconciliation and peace. Let's have a blessing. May God, who through the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ has given us the victory,
Here we go.
Send us grace.
The Avignon Gardens. And this is Dad meeting the Mayor. And I can't imagine what's going on here today. Of course it's Father's Day. That's what it is. I knew there was something going on. We've got a few characters around. Say hello everybody. You're on film.
Hello.
The dog here is on heat at the moment. Molly. Hello, Mol. What have we got here? A load of hungry people.
I've got a plate for Jess. Oh, right, okay.
There's the old so-and-so at the end. Father's Day today, of course. Dad was 91 last week. Wednesday, August the 8th, 2007. And we're taking Dad to his funeral. We're starting out from Trudy's house, Hewitt Road, Great Oakley, or is it Dover Court? Well, that concludes the recording that we did during Dad's lifetime, and this is another view of the board that we made up for Dad's funeral, showing a few more pictures of periods in Dad's life. The first picture there shows Dad in my garden. I'm Arthur Jephcott, his son, his eldest son. Dad's there standing in our garden at Ditchling, Quilters Green, Fordham, in June 2004. His health was good while he was doing these tapes. Obviously he was getting old, but he declined quite rapidly towards the end of his life, and last couple of months in a nursing home in Great Oakley. Since Mum died, he lived at Emily May Court, number 9, but his frailness meant that we had to have him looked after properly. He just wasn't able to look after himself. So here's a picture from 2004, and then another one across to the far right, Dad at the War Memorial in Colchester, wearing his medals and standing there with Teresa, my wife. Below, I think that was Dad's 91st birthday in our garden, again in Fordham, and the one next to it, I think that's his 90th birthday. We used to get the family together and to celebrate his birthday, and he always enjoyed having fuss made of him. There's another section of the board. At the age of, now how old would he have been? I think he was 88 years of age there. There's a picture of Dad in the swimming pool. He was convinced that he could still swim. I think the whole, all the people around the swimming pool in Corfu in Greece took a deep breath as Dad got in the pool. But he managed it. He sunk to the bottom, but he eventually came back to the surface, and there he is swimming with Teresa. He thoroughly enjoyed his holidays with us. We took him 2 years running, I think, possibly 3, and he loved meeting people, especially if there was a bar involved. And there we are, picture on the right with Teresa. Yes, young Lewis by the looks of it, Dad at the bar with a glass, and in the background our friend Akis, who ran the bar in the evenings. Dad really loved his time there. The picture at the bottom is Dad with 2 ladies in his life. That's Teresa and Avi, who Dad really took a shine to. In fact, he proposed marriage to her, all in joke of course, and they missed him when he didn't come back in 2005, but they appreciated that he was getting on. And final set of pictures from the board that we made up. Dad worked at Woods of Colchester. He left Duples in the 50s and came to Woods of Colchester, moved house of course to Walton-on-the-Naze with the job as personnel officer at Woods in 1955, and he stayed at Woods until 1980 when he retired. He had extremely fond memories of his time at Woods, and after he retired he enjoyed attending annually held reunions and any opportunity he could get to go back to the old works. The black and white picture is from 1956, showing newcomers around the factory. That's the foundry there. Dad was a smoker, heavy smoker, and most pictures of him from that period show him with a cigarette. And this small picture at the top is of of Dad at one of the reunions. They're held annually, and he used to enjoy, again, getting together with people that remembered Dad so well because he gave so many of them jobs. And the picture below again is Dad there chatting with an ex-employee probably of Woods of Colchester. And here ends the series of recordings that we did of Dad, and we can only hope that they will last forever, and those that follow Dad, his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, will have this to look back on as a period in their family history.